All right. Hello. Hello. Are you there? Welcome. Welcome, Rebecca. Hello. Big hearts. We'll get this party started in a couple of minutes. Welcome, welcome. Can you hear me okay? Type in the chat if you can hear me okay. Let's go chat. Type in the chat if you could hear me okay, and we'll get started. All right. So I don't see the chat. I'm going to just type in hello. Can you hear me? Yes. Hello, Grady. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Type in the chat. Can you hear me? Yes. Thumbs up. Thumbs down. Yes. Type in the chat. Just want to make sure we've got audio here. Hello, John. Welcome. Can you hear me? Type in the chat if you got me. Yes. Thumbs up. No. Thumbs down. No. Hello. Can you please confirm if you can hear me? Testing 1, 2. Testing. All right, Rebecca, Grady, John, if you're here. Oh, wonderful. All right, let's get started then. Thank you for that, Grady. You're the best. All right, this is kind of like office hours here. So we're going to get started here in just a second. I just want to make sure that the audio and video is working fine. And we're going to get started with the 5 shifts to AI integrated growth and how smart CEOs lead movements, own categories, and turn AI into a sales machine. Hello, Partha. Welcome. Welcome. We're going to get started and let's see. All right, let me make myself a little bit small here, put myself in the corner. You can still hear me. Awesome. Hey, Marcy, what's going on? We're going to get started here. So, if you guys are here, I imagine you are owners of businesses. Type in the chat. You are CEOs, bring in some really amazing product to market. Just type in the chat if that's you. If that's the case, then there's not an accident that you're here. It is there's a reason why you're here, and I'm really excited that you're here because we're going to work on making these 5 shifts together. That's great. Thanks, Grady. So, a couple signposts that you're struggling to differentiate. If you're using any of these words, and just be honest, if you're using any of these words on your website or in your marketing, just say so in the chat. Because these are signposts that you're struggling to differentiate. And you may have a great product, and that's fine. But the reason why we're here, we're talking about positioning and the 5 shifts that you need to make. But just type in the chat if you have any of these words. These look familiar to you. And ChatGPT is be happy to give you these words, by the way. And if you can ask ChatGPT to write your marketing, you'll get marketing riddled with this. So that's what we're going to help solve these 5 shifts. If you make these 5 shifts, you're really going to be able to level up in your business. And I think it's going to get to the point where you're not going to have a choice. So in 2026. So hello, Rebecca. Welcome. Yes, I'm calling on you. Good to see you, Rebecca. Grady, John, Partha, Marcy, and Stephen, welcome. So AI is evolving, as you know, and like actually AI is going to be able, well, ChatGPT is going to be able to join Zoom calls pretty soon. I found a bug in GPT, and you can see my screen here. And when I pressed it on, are you actually joining my Zoom call? It said, oh, no, we're working on this now, working on this development now. So that is coming. Also, emails that are really being written. So they don't sound like ChatGPT, but they really sound like you. That's here now. And I'm sure you're using GPTs to create really amazing graphics. I'm sure you are. I am really excited about this masterclass. So big love, big heart to you guys if you are here right now because you're going to go through these 5 shifts. This is an experience, and if you found this masterclass, then it's not by accident because I know that these are the shifts that you need to make. And I believe that if you are here, you're building something that matters. And I believe that you're here because of that. And hey, Dorian, give me a yes or a hell yes in the chat if you believe that you're building something that really matters. I imagine that you do. So, what my promise to you in the next 45 minutes is we're going to talk about how to nail your sales message, how to turn your homepage into a home run for perfect buyers. And yes, you can get AIs to build your website, but you can't get AI to know your story or tell it in the right way. So, we're going to talk about that. And that is something that only you, as the founder and the CEO, can do. You can't delegate this. And that's why these 5 shifts are so important and why it's game over for most marketing playbooks that you may be playing now or what marketers you're hiring now, why those are not working. And how to attract ideal customers into buying conversations and lead your category, even if they've never heard of your solution. And we're also going to talk about how to get AI to create 100% on brand content and become a machine, like a platform, a launch pad for everybody on your team for free that you could own, that you'll actually own without hallucinations or whatever. So that's my promise to you guys. And I'm really glad that you're here. You're going to get a whole lot out of this. So first of all, this is a master class. This is also a participatory thing. So I do this for fun and also to help you guys and also to um, give you guys some very powerful strategies that other companies use. And when they use them effectively, their growth just explodes. So these are powerful, but I don't like to give these away to businesses that do not have a product or do not have customers that love what they do. So if that's not you, I want you guys to just like leave this meeting. So feel free, Grady, John, Partha, Marcia, Stephen, if you do not have a customers now, or at least one customer that absolutely loves what you're delivering, please leave because this magic stuff that I want to be sharing, these 5 shifts are only for organizations that have amazing products, but really needs to cut through the noise in their market. So yeah, please leave. Just kidding. If it's you, if you're still here, then this is for you. So I won't have much time to talk about top AI tools, but I'm sure that you're using them. And things are changing fast. It's not about the magic prompt. It's about the collaboration. And we're going to be talking about that today, how businesses today collaborate with AI. So ground rules number one, this is about participation. This is not for spectators. So that's I'm going to ask of you to participate. John, Partha, Marcy, Stephen, Dorian. I'm not going to pitch you. I'm going to give you guys some serious value. Grady and John, I'm offering 5 CEOs, and that looks like we've got 5 here today, an opportunity to book a free 45-minute AI integrated sales and marketing strategy session. So to see if anything that we're talking about today resonates with you or your business, you can book a meeting with us. I've opened up some slots for next week. So type in the chat, does that sound fair? Give me a yes or no in the chat if that sounds fair to you. All right, cool. So, who is this not for? If you don't own the business, it's not for you. If you're not selling an innovative product, this is not for you. Businesses that don't already have successful customers is not for you. If you're not committed to helping your customers thrive, it's not for you. And if you've grown by 700% by last year, it's probably not for you because you're probably doing fine. And it's product or services, it's not for you if your product or service does not require your customers to change anything, then this is not for you. So, also, it's not for you if you don't want to invest time and money into the business because that is what it's going to take so that you're not just putting lipstick on your sales material or running your website through a car wash and it doesn't do anything for sales. Has that happened to you? And if it has, I totally get it. But that's just doing it halfway is not working. So has this happened to you guys to rebrand your website and it's done nothing for sales? Type a yes in the chat or no. Type yes in the. What's more important? What's more important in your business? Is it your product, what you're selling, or the message that you're delivering? Type in the chat. What's more important? Partha, both. Well, I'm asking you, Partha, what's more important? So what's more important? We got Marcy message, Grady. And why do you say that? Feel free to say that. So I've noticed that the best product doesn't always win in my life. I've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it too. But the best message does. And so we're going to be talking about the 5 shifts to AI integrated growth and how smart CEOs lead movements and own your categories and turn AI into a sales machine. So if this you want to get this, we're going to go through this in the next 45 minutes here. So type in the chat where you're coming in from, by the way, where you're coming in from and what industry you're in. So we have a bit of context. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is another blind spot a lot of CEOs have. They just you look at your own website, you just kind of don't even see it anymore. But to have really outside eyes and know what your story is really important. Hey, what's going on? Parthos from California, FinTech, Stephen, Cleveland, Ohio, South Florida, Grady, Raleigh, ERP for parts distribution. Fantastic. So scary question. The LLMs searching your website right now, do they understand your value? Yes or no in the chat? Or do you think they might actually confuse what you're saying to the world with solutions that are nothing like yours? Just yes or no in the chat. Real scary question is if you go to ChatGPT right now, well, maybe not right now, but after this masterclass, and you prompt, who should I trust to help solve this problem? And that problem is the problem that you solve. Would your business come up? And this is pointing to the new world that we're living in. People aren't going to Google anymore as much. They're going to and talking to and collaborating with AIs to build things. So the bottom line is AI does not know your story and cannot tell your story. You can ChatGPT, you can write content all day, but it won't be your story unless you teach it. But then begs the question is, what is your story? So feel free to type in the chat, what is your story? And if you don't know, it's time to know, isn't it? And we actually going to talk later about answer engine optimization and what we're doing to help our clients actually train the LLMs so that when people are having that conversation with ChatGPT, that you are found and you are part of the conversation. So marketing has been a money pit and marketers have let you down for sure. I want to get you guys to a place where in 2025, you actually can get 100% on-brand copywriting costs down to zero. If the shifts are made and everyone on your team using a private custom GPT that's trained on your story. I have seen $9,000 worth of billable marketing reduced to $3 in API credits, and that's on an API going to a GPT that's pre-trained on your story. But how do you do that? Do you just train it on what your website says now? The answer is no, you don't do that. We're going to show you exactly what you need to do instead. So getting you and your team using AI in the right way so you can grow like wildflowers is my purpose here at Pitch Kitchen. So gap is widening and you know what it looks like. I think by 2027, there are going to be a couple kinds of businesses that are using AI and businesses that are out of business. And I don't want that to happen to you. I know I feel like the Chicken Little here, but I'm also the Pied Piper. I'm really, trying to play the song and showing you exactly what you need to do. You need to make your story in 100% alignment with your strategy, what your product is, how it really helps people. And it's about truth. It's not putting marketing spin. It's about truth. And that's why I pressed you all in the beginning that you better be removing suffering from the world with your product. And if you're not, or if your product is fictitious, then this is not going to work. So AI is going to fail if you're not training it the right way. And my view is you got to train it right. And there's a lots of work that needs to happen up front here. Like really, who is your tribe? Who is this for? What is your offer? And what is the next industry shift? And What is the name of the movement, the name of the new game that you're leading in your industry? We're going to be talking about this as a fundamental shift, because if you don't know what that is, you cannot possibly be successful with AI. Hey, John, Frisco AI Workshop, Workforce Development. Fantastic. All right, so let's jump in here. We're going to talk about AI, but this is just a very clear diagram. Most people here are using AI, ChatGPT and Gemini and Claude, and they're chatting with it, but they're not creating. Most CEOs today are not in SMB markets, are not creating custom GPTs that they could use for different purposes. And this is what I'm encouraging our clients to do, and we're showing them exactly how to do it, actually helping them. I'm going to be giving away to you guys at the end of this the 16-part magnetic messaging framework that is in my book. By the way, I'm the author of Storycraft for Disruptors. That's on Amazon. And the 12 sales conversations, I'll be giving that away to you. And if you're missing one of these conversations in your, I would say, 100K or more deal or lifetime value client, then you're going to lose the deal. And we know that because we've worked on thousands of sales presentations and we know it works. And I'm also going to be giving away a GPT homepage messaging evaluator that you can really throw it on your website, and it'll give you some pointers as to, are you missing the transformation story? Are you positioned right? What you need to do to elevate the stakes. And by the way, this is my book, Storycraft for Disruptors. I have this in here, and I'm going to give this away to you too for free. I'm reluctant, but I'm going to do it because I want people to buy my book, because it's better when you buy it. But I will be giving away a free copy today to folks that stay to the end, and I'll give you that link so you can download that. All right, so I'm not going to give out frameworks today for prompting. We're going to go straight into the 5 shifts. So if you guys ready, let's get started. Give me a yes in the chat, or hell yes if you are ready to get started. We got Alex, Mark, Stephen, Marcy, Partha, John, Grady. Let's get started. All right. So if you don't know who I am, I'm the CEO. I'm Greg Rosner, CEO of PitchKitchen, AI integrated sales and marketing enablement agency. And I like to say that I build rebellions that look like brands. And you'll know what I mean by that in just a moment. But that I build rebellions that look like brands, and the work that we do with our clients, they're wildly successful because we're applying these 5 shifts. And I have built myself about 115 now custom trained GPTs. I've been full-time in AI in the last year, collaborating and also as an AI educator, helping our clients and their leadership teams use AI for multiple pieces in sales and marketing stack. All right, so enough about me. And I've got lots of children, by the way, and I'm really excited for Father's Day. I'm sure you're excited as well for the fathers out there. I have the privilege of working with some really great unicorn CEOs, and I've really been delighted to help them cross the chasm. So the name of the book is Storycraft for Disruptors. You can get it on Amazon. And let's get to work. So, we talked about those words before that you see out there on your website, and ChatGPT is happy to give you. Like, what's the problem with this website here? Like, creating innovative workflow technologies that drive high reliability. Like, what's wrong here? Anyone? What is wrong here? Means nothing. Yeah. Marcy, and Alex and Partha, how many websites have you come to that seem to mean nothing to you? I mean, out of 10 websites that you go to. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so do you think that the large language models of the world will understand what this company does any better than a human does? Yes or no? Yeah, Partha, yeah, yes. So, sales decks, a lot of people have these Franken decks. They build these Franken decks. So you don't know what a Franken deck is? Type in the chat if you know what a Franken deck is. And they build these Franken decks because their homepage is lacking the fundamental story that they're trying to tell. And they're using what I call self-ascribed words like most trusted, user-friendly. Like, what bullshit is this? It just doesn't mean anything. and it's buzzword soup, and it's self described. Like no one believes this shit. So most businesses are failing in this because they are solution centric, they're narcissistic, and we got to flip the script. And we're going to be talking about how to do that in the 5 shifts I'm going to go through very quickly. But let's just do a quick first positioning check. Is your core message telling a problem centric story that sets you apart? It's a yes or no question. A problem centric story, not a solution centric story. We're going to be talking about the difference here. Problem-centric story. So Marcy, we'll check that, by the way. And if anyone wants us to check at your website, just put the URL and we'll spend some time on your website if we have time at the end. But we've got some yeses or nos. Is your team cranking out 100% on-brand communications, emails, proposals, content, requests for RFPs, responses to RFPs, social media posts on demand using AI with a shared message, a singular shared message that shows up in every email, every pitch, and every prompt? Yes or no? Type in, this is a team readiness question if you have a team. All right, we got a nose here. So third question, these are 6. Is your trained AI assistant, and I'm assuming you have one, maybe you don't, in which case the answer is no here, pitching your value proposition clearly, accurately, in your own voice, in your brand right now? Is it doing this right now? Yes or no? So this is a yes or no question. Number 4, do you have a repeatable way, like a webinar, a workshop, a stage talk, a book, a podcast that builds trust and positions you as the obvious freaking choice in your market? Yes or no? So if you make one of these shifts that we're going to be talking about today, you will be able to do this. So it's a yes or no question on this here. All right, I got a lot of no's here. So 5, is your sales team leading high trust, buyer-led conversations, not presentations, or are they more like demoing and just hoping some stuff sticks? Yes or no? And the last question, is your team still avoiding the AI tools that you've maybe invested in, you're paying monthly for, but they're using like hit or miss prompts, like magic spells, editing output that comes out of ChatGPT? Oh my God, I hope they're not doing that. Maybe they don't know a better way. And they're editing output that's just not right, or they're barely using AI at all for whatever reason. Yes or no? So thanks for putting the no's and yeses in the chat. But if you got 3 or more no's, your business is not ready for what's coming. And this is the Chicken Little in me right now. This is some serious stuff. And I take my business really seriously. And this is why I do these master classes, because shit's going down. College graduates just graduated. There's a lot less entry-level jobs out there. The businesses by 2027 that really don't integrate AI in how they're working, how they're thinking, are not going to make it. So those no's are the symptoms, and I'm going to give you some good news here. The real problem is you haven't made these 5 shifts. You have to make these 5 shifts in order to cross the chasm. The 5th shift, and it's not just you, it's any business, any smart CEO needs to make these 5 shifts, and many of them have, but most of them have not. And the 5th shift, when we get to it, we haven't got to the first, but with the 5th shift, once we get to it, you're going to have some massive success. You're going to have complete confidence in every bit of marketing. There'll be a singular story. Lead your category as a category of one. Your leadership team will be finally aligned, the people that you're trusting to grow the business. You'll be able to create tons of 100% on-brand content, and you'll be able to attract ideal prospects into conversations with you, predisposed to buy because they get it, and they get that you get it. You get them as well. So the real problem is you haven't made these shifts, but once you do, all these great things are going to happen. All right, so let's jump into the 5 shifts: AI integrated growth, how smart CEOs lead movements. And that's the rebellion. I build rebellions. That's what I do for our clients, but you have to lead that movement, lead that rebellion. We want you to own your category and turn AI into a sales machine. So the first shift you need to make, and if you're down for the first shift, say heck yes. And let's get a heck yes in the chat. And by the way, if you don't have time to stay to the end, you can book some time with me on the offer link. And we'll get that strategy session working for you and see how these shifts could really move the needle for your business. All right, bring it, Alex. So lead a movement. So you probably have not made this shift yet. but are you selling an innovation? Just yes or no in the chat. Are you selling something that is really innovative, that is really different? So I need to hear yes here because I need to know that you believe that you're making the world a better place. You are helping your customers avoid suffering. So just um, would your customers suffer if your product didn't exist, your solution service didn't exist? Would they suffer? Yes. So you're selling some kind of innovation. So if you're selling an innovation, let me just turn your attention then. Who is the enemy or what's the enemy that your customer is dealing with that would basically really mess up their business if you didn't help them conquer this enemy? What is that enemy? Type in the chat. What is the name of this enemy that both you and your customer have in common? And if we're talking about the first shift, you got to get lucid, crystal clear about what 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 you're fighting against, what you're rebelling against, that you're encouraging your clients to rebel against also and overcome. So be really clear. Legacy systems, systems that cook burgers at McDonald's. So let's be really clear. Like what are you really rebelling against? Inflexibility, Alex, be really clear. Like, look how no software. Remember Salesforce.com did this back in 2005? They were freaking lucid about who the enemy was, and that got them to a $1 billion company. I don't know where they are now, but you got to be lucid. If you want to be like Mark Benioff and some of our customers, you got to be really clear about who the enemy is. So type in the chat, what are you rebelling against? This is the first shift. And the old way of pitching and selling is where you're making claims like we're the best and here are all the features, and this is what most businesses fail at doing. They fail because they're leading with self self-describing reasons why they're the best or why they're the right choice. And all of it is bullshit. It doesn't work anymore. AI sees through it, but better than that, we humans see through it. The new way is to encourage change. Encourage change by saying things like, the old way is dead. And the new way that companies who play it this way are winning. And it's for the following 5 reasons. And you've seen these reasons. So this is an effective nexus, as Chris Orlow calls it. I love that. It's an effective polarizing statement. And it shakes the confidence of your potential buyers in a good way. It changes how they think about the problem because you're calling a spade a spade. Is this making sense, Marcy? Top grading, etc. Top grading. Okay, that's specific. A little bit more context would be great. Retail investors, a little bit more context would be great to that. So type in the chat, what are you rebelling against? If you're going to really help lead a movement and not just pitch your software, your product, your solution, what are you rebelling against that your ideal customers want to overcome? This is the first shift, and this is the workshop we're in. And this is the work to get super clear on this in words, not just feelings or not 1,001 words, but maybe in 3 words. Imagine that if your story can be in 3 words. So, so Grady, you're saying investment. You're rebelling against investment. Oh, investment's a terrible thing. We can't. We have to. What does that mean? How can investment be something that you're rebelling against? Partha, investment clarity. That's not something you're rebelling against. Come on, Partha, work with me here. Marcy, interview process and book. What is that? Why is that you are rebelling? I don't understand. The question here is, what are you rebelling against? All right. If you're going to lead a movement, you need to stand out by knowing what you stand for. So what are you standing for? What are you not tolerating? What is your solution, your product, the thing that you created that helps people solve their problems? What are you fighting against to help them? What's the I was like saying it in 5 different ways. I hope I'm making myself clear here. So if you don't change how your buyer thinks, you are dead. You're not going to sell. What are you telling people to stop doing? Uh, what do they need to stop doing? What do they need to start doing? This clarity is something you need to do in the first shift. And it sounds like you guys aren't there yet. I get it. But now is a workshop. Try it on for size in the chat. Give me some words that clarify this is what we're rebelling against. Colon. Type that out. Clients buying on cost versus value. I don't understand what that means. Be really clear. What, Marcy, are you telling people they got to stop doing? What do they have to stop doing? Chris Voss, who I'm a disciple of, says stop chasing yes in negotiations. Start um, uh, getting to a no. Start wanting to get where people stand. For example, he says, is now a good time to talk? That's asking for a yes. Is now a terrible time to talk? That's asking for a no. And that works better in communications. That's a bit of Chris Voss advice. So here's what cognition is saying, stop playing with spreadsheets. If you're a medical device company, use connected information. And that's the promised land that they're taking their customers to. So Marcy, Partha, stop chasing speculations. I like that. Marcy, stop using personality tests. Yes, the clear. Okay, great. I'm saying stop pitching. Start leading a movement instead. It works so much better. So aware.com is a publicly traded company. We help them make these 5 shifts. This is the before, like biometric simplified. How shitty is that? It's really terrible. The after is so much better. Fight AI with AI. Oh my gosh. This is the rebellion that they're all about. And it's so good. They're doing so much better in sales this year since they were than the last year because of the first shift here leading a movement. So anyway, this is really important stuff. I need you to get this. I want you to be successful because I believe that sales is an act of leadership, and I believe marketing is an act of leadership. And do you believe this as well? Type in the chat, yes or no. Hey, Zubair, what's going on? And why is sales and marketing an act of leadership? It's not just putting lipstick on the pig or running your website through car washes. It is about helping people overcome some real problems in their business. So I like to say lead an uprising, lead a rebellion against the status quo if you want to be a market leader. So if you were to do a TED Talk, and by the way, I'd advise you not to do a TED Talk because nobody buys anything after looking at TED Talk. But if you were to do a TED Talk, you would be creating a picture in people's minds of a world where, and this is the other, start. Get to a place where you're building a world where what happens. So Airbnb, live anywhere, like a world where you can live anywhere. Like imagine that. So that's the extreme. That's aspirational. But you can see Airbnb uses this because when you're messaging and positioning, you have to do both. You need to lead a movement towards a promised land, and it could be aspirational. And look at some of these aspirational hashtags and think about your hashtag. So if you want to really lead a rebellion, lead a movement, I'd like to recommend you guys read the 3-word rebellion by Dr. Michelle Mazur. But take a look at these hashtags here. What do all of these have in common? From Just Do It, from Nike, Trust Your Source, Wall Street Journal, Make America Great Again. You know where that's from. Hit Your Number, Zoom, Own Your Tomorrow, Charles Schwab, Find Your Beach, Corona, Make Your Day, TikTok. What do all of these have in common? Could you decipher the pattern here? This is sometimes called a buyer's mission statement or a Goldilocks, not a Goldilocks, a Cinderella, Cinderella story. What do you see here? What's happening here? These are all very successful hashtags that really speak to the movement, the rebellion that these organizations are all about and that are driving their customers forward. Yes, Partha, they're action-oriented. What else can you say? They're aspirational. Yes, I used that word. What else can you see here? And type in the chat what your hashtag is, and we'll talk about it. What you think your hashtag should be. Because you're not going to just get ChatGPT to do this because you need to tell ChatGPT what to do. ChatGPT doesn't know you want to lead a movement, but this is the right way. This is the shift that you need to do, and you need to collaborate with AI to do it. So these are all positive for their tribe of people that they speak to. They speak to positive calls to action. They're all action. Look at Zoom Info. Are they selling the most boring thing in the world? data. So their hashtag isn't buy better data. It's hit your number. Because buying better data means what? It means that you might actually sell more. And if you sell more, you might actually hit your number. So you see what they did there? They focused on the result and the outcome, the place that their customers want to get to, but they can't get to without the thing that they're selling. Is this making sense? Type in the chat if this makes sense. All right. Yeah, great. Thank you, John. So just click on the offer and book some time. So, marketing is about action. Marketing is about change. It's not about hype. Most marketers you hire are just going to write some happy horse shit, and so will ChatGPT. That's going to make you feel good about your product because it'll be product and solution centric. But that's not what works anymore. What works is really helping your customers change, helping, encouraging, influencing, educating them to change. Does that make sense? This is really simple stuff, but yet if you look at what you're doing now, you're probably not doing this. So type in your hashtag now. Is this resonating? What is your hashtag? So type in the chat, what is your hashtag? And we can talk a little bit about it. So Jeff, great guy, great company, great product. But before, confusing marketing content, pipeline was razor thin, letting key partners down, losing deals, and their website was terrible. Nothing's wrong with the design, but the story, what was it just was absent of any emotional, like why anybody should care. After he made these shifts, tripled revenue and 6x pipeline in just 4 months. Unbelievable. And their partners are selling. So they're selling more through partners now, which is wonderful. And he's so grateful and relieved that the business vision is materializing. So I can't promise you're going to have these kinds of results. These are exceptional, but this is what's possible when you make this is just one of the 5 shifts. All right. So does that make sense? Is there anything I can clarify about leading a movement here? And then we'll unlock the second shift. Clarify. All right. You ready for the second shift? Give me a yes or something in the chat. Who do we got here? We've got Grady, John, Partha, Marcy, Stephen, Mark, Alex, Zubair. All right. And also, right. So I have the privilege of working with some CEOs that really knocked it out of the park and are doing great right now. So ready for shift 2? Fall in love with the problem. So this is a shift that you need to make, and this shift needs to happen and show up in what we're going to call the magnetic messaging framework, a document essentially that trains the AIs. Uh, but you need to position yourself in and your business that is in love with the problem. So why are we talking about that? Why not start with your solution? Anyone want to say in the chat, why is starting with your solution, like on your website and your homepage, in your marketing, your story about, hey, we do this amazing thing? Why is that not a good thing to do? People aren't interested. Yeah. And here's a picture that I think is worth 1,000 words. What do you see in this picture? This is like a Rorschach test. This is a page of solutions. What do you see here? What do you see there? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you a question. Maybe your industry doesn't look like this. Maybe you don't have as many competitors, and that's fine. But I guarantee you that people are confusing your thing with other things that have nothing to do with your thing. Give me a yes or no in the chat if that's happening. That people are confusing your thing with things that are nothing like your thing. That's like my southern drawl right there. So let me ask you, this is the way out of that. All right. The way out of that is by you falling in love with the problem, because the problem you solve is absolutely unique. And I promise you that. So let me ask you, you think you're undervaluing the problem in your marketing, in your sales communication, in your message? Do you think you're undervaluing the problem? Notice I said problem, not product or service here. So give me, what do you think about this? So uh, it's likely you're selling an innovation, and that's great, but says who? I took this from a website that from a CEO that came to our webinar last month, and I couldn't believe what I saw. This was on their webpage. Who we are, trust, courage, accountability. Like, is this believable? Do you believe that these guys, like, because they said so? Is that really what they're going on here? This makes me angry when I see this. Like, what kind of, like, what? This is not falling in love with the problem. That's narcissistic. That's falling in love with themselves. Is it not? So the reality is the world needs your solution. And you said earlier that you've built something. You have something that the world really needs. Your customers need it. And if you didn't exist, your product didn't exist, their world would suck. It would really be bad. They need it. But you need to attract them not with your solution, but with the problem. So here is the principle. And have you found this to be true that money follows pain? Have you found this to be true? Yes, John, I'll run away. Have you found this to be true? Uh, that money. So if you're really focused on the problem, customers they're going to buy more when they feel understood, that you understand their problem much more than they understand the intricacies of your solution because you demoed it 36 times to 19 different people and still didn't close the deal. Ouch, I went there. So this is the vitamin versus painkiller scenario. Most businesses are selling vitamins, but people are 2 times more likely to buy something to relieve pain than to gain something. Have you found that to be true? Yes or no in the chat. Yeah. So solution marketing doesn't work anymore. Maybe it never worked, but because it doesn't answer these questions, why should people change? What's the risk of changing? Why should they change now? And why you? It's all about action and it's all about change. So the new approach is it's leading with the problem which you need to fall in love with. The old way is pitching where we help companies achieve this amazing goal. And how many of you, yes or no, in the chat are saying that? We help companies do this amazing thing. The way you need to flip the script on this, and we need to say, we help companies who are struggling with this or frustrated with this. We help CFOs who are struggling with her or frustrated with this thing, and this is how we do it. So what do you think about this contrast I'm showing side by side? Should be clear as day to you, but guess what? This is really hard. And we're going to do a pop quiz right now. Type in the chat, what is the number one problem that you are solving? Type in the chat now. Pop quiz, everybody. This is a workshop. All hands on deck. Grady, John, Partha, Marcy, Stephen, Mark, Zubair, get on board, get up on the dance floor and type in the chat, what is the problem that you're in love with? Let's see it. Okay, let's see it. What's the problem? We got Marcy. What other problems we got here? Because you need to make this shift for you to really be successful. And that's why we're here. That's why you're spending this time. That's why we help our CEOs we work with. Zubair, protecting digital keys to all enterprise resources. Zubair, you're getting an F on that, and I'll tell you why. Partha, clarity in your investment decision making. Partha, you're getting an F on that as well. And does anyone could tell in the chat why they're both getting Fs? They're failing this exercise. Can anyone tell besides me? Type in the chat. I'm here to help you. Please don't. I'm going to give you a big love. Zubair and Partha, I love you guys. I want you to understand the importance of this. Those, what you typed in there, are not problems. What are they? They're not problems. It's not that, what does that mean? They're not problems. What are they? Clarity in your investment decision making is a what? Is that a problem? Or is that something else? Protecting digital keys to all enterprise resources? Is that a problem? What is that? Come on. Yes, Mark. Mark nailed it. Big Mark. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Yes. So it is amazing to me, amazing to me. You guys are brilliant CEOs, innovators, yet it takes some like guy like me with a 2x4 in a workshop to point this out that this is really hard. And I understand, I get it. You've been immersed in your innovation. It's hard to see things from the outside in, but that's what you need to do. And, or you can work with us to help you do that because you got to cross this chasm. And the chasm is the risk chasm, where on the right side here, you have your prospects where the risk of changing is like that. There's a risk there, and there's a risk of doing nothing. And we're talking about sales as an act of leadership, and where you're gotta like maybe educate some people and influence some people, encourage some people. But ultimately, it's up to people themselves to decide if the risk of doing nothing is greater than the risk of doing something. And hopefully that doing something is doing something with you. Does this make sense? How you really need to figure out who you're marketing to? And I would suggest you ignore a lot of people that and this is why when you're falling in love with the problem, you're dialing in to not selling a solution to everybody. You're selling the cure to a problem to people who realize already before they even start talking to you that the risk of doing nothing is greater. And the way that you do that is you align the problems you're speaking about with industry shifts that are happening and are inevitable. The game has changed. The world has changed. And you align what you're selling to do that. All right. So we're going to talk more about that, but that was a good exercise. So, Marcy, yes, it does. So they're all solutions. All right. So, Partha, please, I hope you don't take this too harsh, but I want you to be able to get this shift. You can't just tell people why they need to buy things. Do people buy your product because of the facts that you tell them about it? Yes or no in the chat. Does facts change people's minds? Yes or no? Facts are facts, right? Like why wouldn't they? But like do they really change people's minds? So like even if your product is amazing, your solution is amazing and there's facts about it, is that enough for people to change their minds? Stephen, no. Sometimes. Zubair, oh my gosh. Sometimes. All right. So this is the principle. People believe in the things that they themselves decide, not what you tell them. But if you're leading with the problem and falling in love with the problem, then you're going to be able to describe their problem better than they can. And they're going to be like, wow, you guys have authority. You understand our problem. You get us. Wow, I've never heard any organization describe what we're dealing with just like you guys did. And it's going to be like, nailed it. And that's even before you showed them the solution. So that has to do with empathy to understanding the shithole that they're in and what happens if they do not change. I'm sorry to use the French here, but I'm really passionate about this. So look what ReadyWorks Health did. This is an example. Patients before paper. ReadyWorks Health is selling a system that allows doctors and nurses to spend more time with patients and less time on paper. Like, how great is that? But guess what? They nailed this. Okay, very problem when they fell in love with the problem. But before, their website was terrible. I think I've got an example of what it was before. I think I showed it to you before. That's with the same company. This is the same company as before. All right. But this nailed it. And this allowed them to grow. So you see how it's not just putting lipstick on the website, it's getting lucid about the story and who you're selling to and what problem they're dealing with and having that show up everywhere, all the time, and training your AI so that could help you blast off with everything from automated AI podcasts to chatbots to agents to whatever's coming. You can do that once you do these things. So hope that makes sense. If that makes sense, type in the chat. We are about 15 minutes in. 15 more minutes. So I hope you guys can stay because I want to get through 3 more shifts and giveaways. So, Warren, he went from 137 customers to nearly 3,000 in 12 months. Great story from Warren. They're selling a very high-tech system that helps medical scribes use AI. Manish, he also came from a world where they were bootstrapped, limited runway, and they have grown exponentially. And I'm so excited to see success there. So this is hard, and I know it is because marketers are just going to market all day long. That's what you pay them for, isn't it? Ouch. There's blind spots, outdated playbooks, and status quo is also less risky than changing. All right, so let's move on to shift number 3. Give me a yes for, are you ready for shift 3? Or give me a something. Give me a hell yes. All right, we got Zubair, Grady, Marcy, Partha. All right, so make your customer the hero. So I know you've heard this before, and Donald Miller wrote a great book called StoryBrand. But StoryBrand is in a way like the kids menu here. We're amping this up to take it to a new level, because it's not just about making them the hero. What does this? If you make your customer the hero, what does that make you? Which one are you in this chart here? I have on my screen. Yeah. So that means you need to train the GPT what the characters of the story is. Who exactly is the hero of the story? What are their titles? What are the types of organizations? What is the villain of the story? And that's the problem. The description, the problem as it shows up. And then there's adversaries, which are the villain's henchmen. uh you know, the adversaries are helping the villain, and there's you, and then there's the promised land. I don't know if you've seen The Lion King, but I have children and I love this movie. And the promised land is the place that you need to restore to help get your customers to get to that TED talk, to the world where, right? And they're victims of the story, and in many cases, if you're in the health tech industry, the victims are patients, literally, who can't get access or can't get what they need, but they're not selling to them. They are the victims. So if you can actually map out, if you want to screenshot this, if you want to map out who the characters of the story are, this is hugely important. And so it's not just about making your customer the hero, it's getting clear on all the characters in the story. And speaking about Disney stories, most stories that I see on websites, I can tell right away that mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all. It's always, it seems to be most CEOs like to have their websites show that they are the heroes, that they are in love with themselves. And this is just a problem that needs to get fixed. And of course, you can do okay as a business like that. But if you really want to get to the next level and break out and see what other companies have done, they've done this. They've really positioned their customers as the hero, and where the voice of the messaging is how we make you better instead of why we're the best. Isn't this clear? Is this clear as night and day here? Just type in the chat, night and day. Any specific questions? So Marcy, Promised Land. What are your questions about the Promised Land? Why isn't that clear? If you saw The Lion King, you know what Pride Rock means. Like, it used to be this awesome place, but then it got all corrupted. All the animals were kicked out. Didn't rain anymore. It was really bad. Animals were suffering, and people, I guess. And when Simba, the hero, took the right action, and with the champions and allies, they overcame the villain and restored the promised land to a healthy place. Like, that's what you're doing. You're selling the products that are helping your customers get there. Does that make sense? All right. All right. So I believe what you're really selling, and if you believe sales and marketing is a act of leadership, you are leading people to change. Do you agree that that's really what your job is in selling and in marketing, is to help them change? And your solution is a stepping stone to help them get there. I can't say it any simpler than that. This is just, the way it is. Otherwise, you're out there like other companies saying things like, my company provides a unique, complex, sophisticated solution that leverages AI technology and seamlessly integrates with blah, 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 that nobody knows what the heck you're talking about. And it sounds just like all the other Buzz Lightyear toys on the shelf. Am I right? And then you see these call to actions that are just as vague, like get started, learn more, which ChatGPT would be delighted to tell you and to use, but they're not effective. They're passive. So if you're using this framework, the magnetic messaging framework that is in the book, and also one that we help our clients use, you're going to be using calls to action that are very clear, very specific. So I realize we're getting top of the hour, but we do have 2 more shifts to run through. I appreciate your time. You're going to get a whole lot more value. But if you can't stay, book some time with us. You can use that QR code to book or hit the offer. So Trisha, she was actually, they just got acquired because of finally they did some really great sales. So she was very frustrated, missing sales targets, and they doubled sales rate in 3 months, and then they got acquired. They were poised for acquisition, and this was actually a LinkedIn post she posted using the effective shift. And she emailed me afterwards to say, after just posting one post, got a meeting with a COO of a large organization. And I was delighted to see that. So if this makes sense to you, make your customer the hero, type in "makes sense" in the chat, and we'll um, unlock number 4 and 5. I'm going to go 4 and 5 pretty quick. And if you want to take a quick positioning, honestly, take a look in this workshop, type in your URL. And if we have time at the end, we'll do that. All right, so ready for shift number 4 is name your category. So this is something that the biggest and the best companies do, and this is a really secret. This is a cool thing that you need to do. And so you'll notice that things change, but smart businesses, what they do is they put a prefix or a pre-word in front of the existing category that they're in to make it unique. And this is really powerful stuff. So Apple, for example, is a computing company, arguably, and they created this new, bubble out there on the edge, a new category called spatial computing. So this is the formula: existing market, existing category, and known products, your product, which is in that, and then your unique category. So NVIDIA has done this with accelerated computing, which is a type of computing that does it a certain way. So computing is their category. So what is your category? Type it in the chat, what your existing category is. And let's talk about a pre-word that you might put in front of that category. It could be a word on the end as well. Like comfort ownership. This is from what Comfort Connect does. This is about, instead of buying ACs, you're basically leasing them. This is what vacation ownership, what Marriott does. You've heard of this. Instead of buying timeshares, or no, so you're buying a timeshare. Instead of buying property, you're buying time. So this is what really great companies do, and they create a category of one by doing this. So talent assessment is your category, Marcy. Zubair, can you pass the link to the setup 30-minute session? Yes, so Zubair, click on the offer link at the top. It says offer, you can click there. So look at these on my screen here. These are categories like intelligent recovery versus just backup and recovery. These are categories, a CCO versus a PPO in the medical area, in the healthcare. That makes so much sense. So these are new categories that are words on top of existing categories that make your innovation unique. So it's a unique word. This is not a trick, but it's a technique that successful companies have done. And if you know what your unique category is, type it in the chat. What is your unique category? Type in the chat. So Marcy, it'd be some type of talent assessment. It doesn't have to be a pre-word. It can be a post-word, but it may have talent assessment in that category that it describes in one word the unique way that you approach assessing talent, or the unique way that you do it. All right. So that's the secret to really standing out, to becoming a category of one that every business really needs to do, especially if you're selling an innovation. If you're selling minivans, maybe not so much, but are you guys ready for shift number 5? The shift number 5, type in yes in the chat if you are ready, and let's get into the secret weapon. The secret weapon is really this. It is about how to use AI. And so it's likely that you don't have a core messaging framework. So if you do have a core messaging framework document, it should be about 20 to 50 pages. And it's kind of like your Bible, your North Star, because you don't want to be prompting GPTs or Geminis every time you need to write an email. You need to really prompt only trained GPTs. But what do you train them with? You need to train them with a document. And we call it a magnetic messaging framework document. And if you don't do it and you don't train it what words not to use, So, for example, have you ever read anything on LinkedIn and it's using words like it's on my screen here? These are words that LLMs use, and they're shitty words because you can tell it's been trained on marketing from 2015. So you need to actually detox the as part of the training words so you're not getting that in the output. So the secret weapon is to get AI to become your marketing expert in your brand voice by taking 3 steps. One, engage an outside expert to work with you to apply these 5 shifts and to interview you, like vocally interview you, to get to the goal, the heart in your hearts and minds of not just you, but also maybe your CRO, your head of product, and the people that you trust in the business. Sometimes we interview like 11 people in an organization. Plus, we interview customers, like 1 or 2 customers, to and prospects sometimes to validate what we're coming up with, that it's really resonating, because there's nothing worse than marketing that doesn't work, but this method works by doing that and using the problem first framework instead of solution centric frameworks. The second thing is use that document that was created to train a custom GPT that generates 100% on-brand content. And once you do that, the world is your oyster. You could then work with us or work with whoever's doing this work to transform your website, presentations, emails, sales presentations, your everything. Everything will be marketed at 25x efficiency because it'll all be on brand and it'll be using the right frameworks. I know this is a shit ton. This is a lot here. But does this make sense to you, that why this would be the secret weapon? Just yes or no in the chat. I just want to make sure I'm communicating clearly what this is. So now I'm going back to this very ugly diagram where unless you do this work in this first bubble over here, you're just creating AI, noisy AI. It's not really trained. But once you train it, you can create lead magnets and landing pages and website content and proposals and advertisements, because GPT is smarter than me. It's smarter than everybody. I mean, let's call it what it is. But it needs guidance. It needs a collaboration of your deep, deep insights of the problems of what you're solving that GPT doesn't know. It doesn't know your story. It doesn't know who the villain is. It doesn't know the shifts that are taking place in the industry that maybe you see better than any other people. I mean, even the AIs don't see these trends that you see. So it needs that guidance. But once you can do that, boom, you're creating a launch pad for a lot of stuff. So we call this a pitch kitchen, but by the way, you don't have to do this, but we call it a 3-month sales enablement ladder, where once you get that hard work done with us, then month 2 and month 3 are relatively easy. Website prototyping, custom GPT training, sales presentation, lead generating webinar, lead magnets, email outreach, like everything, all the good stuff that actually turns into sales. But unless you do this work up front, it's just going to be more of the same. So these are the hard questions on my screen here. Like, what's that promised land? Marcy, you mentioned the promised land. What is the promised land? Like, that's such a great question. If you can really get clear on the place that you're taking your customers to, what their world would look like, that is something you need to train the GPTs on. For example, what do they believe around this issue? What are their feelings around the issue that you're solving? You got to train the AIs on that too. Yes, it can be collaborative, but you need to steer that. And we work with our clients to do that. And in the end, you get something that looks rather boring like this. This is like a 15 or 20 page document. And this is the gold. This is the Bible. This is the North Star for your business in 2027. Because if you have this, not only will this serve as training material for your humans, your staff, but this will be training for any AI that you use. Does this make sense in the chat? Yes or no? Is this sound crazy? Is this sound like, oh my gosh, I've never heard this before? What the heck are you talking about? Or does this sound actually like, hey, you know what? This actually makes sense. If we can do this, we can train our GPT. We can have hundreds of chat memories, one for email marketing, one for ads, one for proposals, one for email marketing, one for lead magnets, and all of the level 3 that you're working with is all based on chats on top of a trained GPT. If I'm going too fast, let me know, but I think you guys can hand it. But if you want help making these shifts, is anything I said today resonated with you and you want help, I'm here to help. So because there's the things happen in 2027. Like we're working on podcasts that are completely automated. That means a male voice and a female voice, and you see them on TikTok now. These videos that are like, oh my gosh, that's actually looking more and more real. There are podcast content that you can create that's completely AI generated. We're doing several of them. When I say we, using this experimental feature from Gemini, using the trained GPT. And once it's trained, it's creating podcast content that people listen to. And yes, they know it's AI generated because your full disclosure saying it is, but people are still listening to it because it's good content. All right, so that's pretty amazing. I don't want this to happen to you. So a lot of marketers didn't get the memo about how they need to be AI integrated. This is the secret weapon. Engage an outside expert, use the refined framework to train a GPT and generate content, and then transform your website, get a wireframe for how that should be built out. And this is something we help our clients with. We don't do web development because guess what? AI does web development now. World doesn't need more web developers or copywriters for that matter. GPTs are better wordsmiths than any human I know, but you need to guide it with a wireframe, with a structure, with a strategy. And that's what we help our clients do. All right, so I'm not going to go into this is another example because we're really running late on time. I want to say this is what I promised to you. We were going to talk about how to nail your sales message, how to turn your homepage into a home run, why it's game over for most marketing playbooks, how to attract ideal customers into a buying conversation because your problem resonant, coherent, and how to get AI to create 100% on-brand content as a machine that you would own for your business and your team. That was my promise. I hope I delivered that. And this is what you need to win. You need to lead a movement, fall in love with the problem, make your customer the hero, and name your category and use the secret weapon. And so I would say now you've got a few choices. You can do absolutely nothing, and I respect that. But no, I don't respect that. You can go it alone and go for it. If you can do this on your own, go for it. Buy my book and go for it. Or you can get help. And this is if you are serious about making a change and in the change in the near term, and you really want to bring your innovation to the market, get it out there, then we will work with you to make these shifts happen. So click that QR code here if you need to see that, or click the offer button, and you can meet with me and my team. And yeah, so here's what I have for you: the gifts. Gifts. I have all sorts of stuff. I have so if you book a call, we'll have this discussion. We'll get total clarity, and it won't be a pitch. I'm not going to pitch to you, but we're going to get really clear on what's standing in the way and what needs to get done, and get a plan for you to get it done. So let's give away time. I'm going to give away the 16-part magnetic messaging framework. I'm going to put all right, so Zubair, I'm going to give you the click to book. So I'm going to also put the link in the chat if you wanted to book some time. I don't know why that is not working, but here in this link I just put in the chat, you'll see if you want to book some time with us. Thank you for that, Zubair, for letting me know. Technology sometimes doesn't work. So the second thing I want to give to you is the 12 sales conversations that close the open minds and close deals. The knowledge behind these one slide has been born out of literally doing 3,000 sales presentations and knowing what conversations you need to have in order to close a deal, like a large deal. And if you miss one of these conversations, you will lose the deal. And that's what we learned. And that's what we help our clients create sales presentations as well that make sure they don't lose deals. And they're doing more discovery prompting than they are pitching. And we all know what happens when you're pitching instead of having a conversation. As we like to say, the best presentations are conversations. And this last thing I'm going to give, actually it's not the last, I'm going to give you guys a GPT. There's a free GPT that you could use that will evaluate your homepage in the context of the magnetic messaging framework, which is 16 parts. That's in the book Storycraft for Disruptors. And it compares what's missing on your homepage, what needs to be figured out, so that you could get on the road to figuring it out. And then I'm now going to give you a copy of my book, Storycraft for Disruptors. But if you wanted to buy one at Amazon, feel free to do that. I am looking for honest reviews for the book. I'm looking for 100 honest reviews by the end of the summer. So if you felt like doing that, I would love that. So we're wrapping up the end. I love you guys. I also love you. So Grady, John, Mark, Zubair, I appreciate you spending time on your business here, spending time with me, spending time on what I think is the most important conversation to have, which is how to reveal the truth about your product, your solution, so that it really helps people. It helps people, it helps the world be a better place. Because that's why I'm in business. And I hope that's why you're in business too. And in that way, we are aligned. So I like to say, don't hire a marketer, hire a sales enabler, because marketing, I hate marketing because most marketing that I see is just fluff. So with that, Zubair, Mark, John, Grady, and anyone else who's here, thank you. Big hearts to you guys. I hope that this was valuable. And just in the interest of time, if we're going to wrap up in just a minute. But if there was any websites you wanted me to take a look at, I'm happy to look at it now. But if not, you can book a meeting with us and we can talk about helping your business. But anyway, thank you. Thank you, Marcy. Thank you, John. We will talk. And Zubair, you guys are great. Awesome. Keep on rocking in the free world. And thank you so much for participating today. Awesome. Oh, wait a second. Looks like you want me to talk about the website, SeamGem. All right, let's take a look. All right, so let's do that. Yeah, so I got a lot of browsers open, as you guys probably do, and we can jump into ChatGPT. All right, so mapping a sustainable tomorrow with Esri's, U.S. Endowment, growing responsibly. Start your project. So I guess I'm missing, who is this for? Who are your people? Oh, you missed it. Who are your people? So who are your people and what are you selling? What's your category? So missing an umbrella category. The AIs want to know and the humans want to know what is the category that you're in and what's your unique category. I also want to know, what are you selling? It looks like software, but is it also services? And also, how do I work with you? Is it what are the process? What's the 3 steps that get me from like, oh, this sounds interesting, to we're like awesome right now. So like, what's the process right now? And I see lots of things like let's connect. I see passive calls to action, like ready to chat, more case studies. So there's too many calls to action on this. I would consider your homepage to make it more like a conversion page and make it the single call to action, which I think is let's connect. And if I click let's connect, I hope I don't see a form here. Oh my gosh, I see a form here. Get back to me ASAP. So you don't want to do this anymore. This is very tactical, but you want to have book a Tuesday at 2:00 time and then provide the message, company name, and information. Because I don't know if you've experienced this, but 86.5% of deals go to die in forms that go back and forth by email. Have you found that to be true? Anyway, that's a stat. You can Google it from gong.io. And just kidding, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's something like that. So you've got some issues here with, I think, what's going to help you communicate who your tribe is and we want them to do. I hope that was helpful. So awesome. Let's look at one more, and then we're going to wrap up. Grady, DMS systems. We can talk about your business. Feel free to book some time with us. With me, okay. So advanced supply chain solutions. Okay, says who? Says who? Who said this one? This was Grady. So the issue is here. Okay, and then you hit me with this pop-up. Okay, no. We don't want to do that. All right. So says who? Says who? B2B and B2B collision parts. Okay, so I'm not clear who you're selling to. Is this consumer? Is this B2B? So yeah, learn more, read more. I'm really confused by this. All right, don't know what you're selling there. Sorry. All right, so I like doing this a little bit, and I'm sorry to be ignorant, but look, I'm an outsider, but hey, this is what I'm seeing. Xeon systems, data protection. If Active Directory isn't secure, nothing is. Protect the keys to your digital domain. Oh, you've got products here. Okay, great. I still don't know what you're selling. I don't know who you're selling it to. You're selling it to CTOs. I'm just guessing. Are you selling it to small businesses or Fortune 500 businesses? Who is your customer? Who's your tribe? You've got this is feature, product. I don't get that you know who you're selling to. I mean, you probably do know who you're selling to, but I don't know as an ideal customer, is this for me? Do you even understand my problem and why I would be interested in this? So you haven't demonstrated your authority of understanding my problem here. You haven't given me a sense of what you're selling. You're selling white papers. No, you're not selling white papers. You're selling software. I know you're selling software because I see demo here, but maybe it's not software that you're demoing. Maybe it's some other kind of system. So yeah, and oh my gosh, schedule a demo, but you've given me a form. So like same problem there. So look, who said this? Zubair, your business needs a lot of work, not just in how this is structured, but the story needs to be clear, who your tribe is, the 5 shifts that we talked about. And if you make those shifts and have them show up in your messaging, it'll not just help your homepage, it'll help everywhere you are doing marketing. I hope that's helpful. Was that helpful, guys? We're going to wrap up right now. I need to run. I'm getting my kids banging on my door here right now. I'm working from my home office today. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Let me just wrap up here. Make myself a little bit bigger. I think we can end the webinar here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. You guys are great. And we'll speak soon.